Hello everybody and welcome to the Kreatryx YouTube channel. I welcome you all in a fresh session of analog electronics. And my dear friends, when I say we are going to learn analog electronics from the very basic, I mean it. We will be learning from the very basic level to the very advanced level along with a lots and lots of questions. So before we do that, let me first introduce myself for my friend who is meeting me for the first time. My dear friends, my name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR1 twice in GATE in 2014 and 2018. I was awarded the President of India Gold Medal in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Till date, I have trained more than 1 lakh students in the online and the offline classes and presently working as a director at Unacademy for GATE department. But my dear friends, the reason behind this series is because of the huge demand of analog electronics and the belief that whenever you ask for anything, we are there to deliver. Yes, my dear friends, we are here for you. We are here delivering for you. And when we say it, we will support you to the very fullest level. And this series will help you crack GATE with the top rank. It will enable ECE student to get 12 out of 12 and 5 out of 5 for electrical students. So my dear friends, if you want to learn with us live, then you can join Unacademy using the code Ankit ESE to get an immediate 10% discount. And not only, my dear friend, 10% discount, it also brings you under my guidance so that I can help you do something that I have done. I can at least take you near to this goal. Okay. So if you also dream the same thing, then join me in this journey on Unacademy subscription using the code Ankit ESE. Now, my dear friend, if you like the content that I deliver, you can watch more of my free videos on this URL, tinyurl.com/AnkitESE. Here you will find all my videos arranged subject-wise, chapter-wise, and you will find great content for free. And you are definitely going to love it. You are definitely going to enjoy. It not only includes conceptual videos, but it also includes problem-solving sessions. So just visit this once and you will fall in love with this URL. Don't forget it. It is a lifeline for you. And if you love the content that we are delivering on YouTube, we have created the first ever video book for you guys, where you will find all the videos along with all the notes that we provide arranged subject wise, chapter wise. So now, my dear friends, your dreams are no longer dreams. They are becoming a reality because you are getting a top quality course, well arranged, well structured, and that too for free. So what can be better than that? What can be better than that? Nothing, my dear friends. So we have empowered the dreams of those who earlier used to think that only the person with a huge amount of money can crack GATE with a top rank. No, my dear friends, that is not the case. Even you can do. Even you can do it. But yes, just you need to believe in yourself and visit this link. But remember, this is a case sensitive link, so write this in uppercase. Other than that, if you join plus subscription, you get all the top educators like me teaching you live in daily lectures, along with providing you daily practice paper, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, crash course, rank improvement batch, and most importantly, clearing your each and every doubt. So if you join plus subscription, it is an entire world inside it. So you don't have to look outside. Once you enter plus, every need of yours will be taken care of, and we will make your journey as smooth as possible towards that destination of getting under 100, under 10 rank. Believe me, my friend, you leave that strategy part to us. You leave the content part to us. You just work hard and we will make sure that you obtain the top rank in GATE and ESE. And Iconic is a big brother of Plus. Yes, this is a little brother. So Iconic gives you everything that a Plus subscription gives, along with much more. The major part of Iconic is this personal coach, a person dedicated to you on a daily basis to get you the top rank, guiding you, getting your schedule design, making your strategy. Everything that you need to get the top rank is being done by this personal coach. He'll also create a study planner for you, which you can follow blindly and reach your destination with utmost ease. They will be analyzing your test result and tell you where you are lacking, how you can improve. So that way, my dear friend, everybody else will get a standard analysis, but you will get an analysis just tailor-made for you. Along with it, we have included study material additionally, theory and question bank, and soon we'll be introducing interview guidance into this. So this will become a complete package for a student who wants to take that journey from being an average student to sitting into a PSU or a MTech seat. So for them, this journey will be just like driving a Lamborghini to work. So that sort of a experience, that sort of a royal experience we are going to give you. So let's move on to the lecture, and if you want to join Unacademy, just make sure you use the code Ankit ESE to get my guidance as well as to get 10% over and above whatever Unacademy offers you. So now let's move on to the lecture, dear friends, and let's see what we have in store for you.
Hi guys, in the previous few videos we have discussed all about the different kind of oscillators. Oscillators were made using op-amps such as Schmitt trigger, Astable multivibrator, Monostable multivibrator, and using BJT and FET also, like RC phase shift oscillator, Hartley oscillator, Colpit oscillator. In this lecture we will discuss a special IC or an integrated circuit that is basically used to implement multivibrator, and that IC is called as 555 timer IC. It is a dedicated circuit. It is a circuit which is built into a integrated circuit and is specifically designed for the purpose of implementing a multivibrator. That is, you don't need op-amp, BJT, all these active devices. Just this IC is sufficient to make two type of multivibrator, majorly monostable and astable. Okay. So what is the meaning of this 555 timer IC? The name is derived from three 5 kilo ohm resistors inbuilt in the IC for voltage division. Inside this IC we have three resistances, each of 5 kilo ohm, and they are used to implement voltage division, and hence it is called as 555 timer. Now this 555 timer IC is a 8-pin IC. Okay. So we show ICs like this. It is a 8-pin IC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 8 pins. Pin number 1 is kept as ground terminal. Okay. Pin number 2 is your trigger terminal. Pin number 3 is your output terminal. Pin number 4 is your reset terminal. Pin number 5 is your control terminal. Pin number 6 is your threshold terminal. Pin number 7 is discharge terminal. And pin number 8 is your supply terminal, where you will give the power supply VCC. Okay. But before studying this 555 timer IC, the basic concept of flip-flop must be clear, because when we are constructing this IC, we are making use of a flip-flop inside the IC. Okay. So let us see the construction. If you see the construction, this box is basically representing a 555 timer IC. Okay. Now see, what happens actually is, there are two comparators in the circuit, and these are the three 5 kilo ohm resistor, due to which we are giving it the name as 555 timer IC. This node is connected to inverting terminal of comparator 1, and this is connected to non-inverting terminal of comparator 1. This is pin number 8 supply. This is pin number 1 ground. Threshold is connected to positive terminal or non-inverting terminal of comparator 1. Trigger is connected to inverting terminal of comparator 2. And control voltage, which is only sometimes used, is connected to inverting terminal of comparator 1. This is a SR flip-flop in which this is R input, this is S input, this is reset bar. Okay. Reset bar means reset is active low input. That is, reset is active when it is 0. Active low means it becomes active when it becomes 0. Are you getting my point? So when you make this input 0, when you make pin 4 equal to 0, then flip-flop is reset. Okay, we actually reset the flip-flop when we make pin 4 equal to 0. Is it fine? Being reset means Q will become 0 and Q bar will become 1. That is the meaning of reset. So you can reset the flip-flop. Now this is Q bar, and after that we have applied an inverter to take the output. So if you are applying an inverter at Q bar, output will be equal to Q. Are you getting my point? All the pins are clear. So reset is being used to reset or clear the flip-flop. I'll tell you the meaning of discharge later on. So let us understand the working pin by pin. So pin number 1. Pin number 1 is ground. So this pin is actually connected to ground. How you will connect it to ground? By ground I don't mean earth. See, whenever you are running a IC, you will give it a DC supply. DC supply always has two terminals, positive terminal and negative terminal. So what we do is connect positive terminal of supply to pin 8 and negative terminal of supply to pin 1. That way what I am essentially doing is I am connecting a DC source like this. Like this. Okay. So that is how you don't need to apply ground separately, but you will connect a DC source between VCC and the ground. Is my point clear? Okay. Moving on. Now see, due to voltage division, the total voltage is VCC. This is the total voltage, and 3 5 kilo ohm resistances are connected. So this voltage will be equally divided in the 3 resistances. Each resistance will have a voltage of VCC by 3, which means the negative voltage of comparator 1 will be 2 VCC by 3 and positive voltage of comparator 2 will be VCC by 3. Okay. So moving on to the next pin, that is pin number 2. Pin number 2 is your trigger terminal. Okay. It is your trigger terminal. Now see, trigger terminal is connected in comparator 2 where the positive voltage is 1 by 3 VCC. So if V trigger becomes less than VCC by 3, that means at the trigger input you will apply a decreasing pulse like this, and as soon as it crosses VCC by 3, V negative will become less than V positive. See, positive voltage is VCC by 3. If trigger input on negative terminal voltage is less than VCC by 3, the output of comparator will be Vset, or you can say high. If the output of this comparator is high, S input of the flip-flop is high. If S becomes 1, the output of the flip-flop also becomes 1. This is called as set input. So whenever S is 1, the output becomes 1 and Q bar becomes 0. Moving on to the third pin, pin number 3. Pin number 3 is your output terminal. So at output terminal we connect the load. Now this load can be connected in two ways, that is between pin 3 and ground, or between pin 3 and VCC. If you connect between pin 3 and ground, it is called as off load. Between pin 3 and VCC, it is called as on load. So you don't have to do anything, you just have to connect the load at pin number 3. Pin number 4. Pin number 4 is your reset terminal. Okay. If it is your reset terminal, we will say when pin 4 is 0, flip-flop is reset, and when flip-flop is reset, the output Q will become 0. So pin 4 is basically used to reset the output. Okay. Now pin 5. Pin 5 is your control terminal. Generally the voltage at this terminal, as you can see, is 2/3 VCC. But you can apply a different voltage by means of the control voltage. So that means we can change negative voltage of comparator 1 to change pulse width. How you can change pulse width we will understand when we will talk about monostable multivibrator, but this pin will be very rarely used. You just have to remember it will be used to change the pulse width of the output. Pin number 6 is your threshold terminal. Okay. Now it is connected to positive terminal of comparator 1. The negative terminal of 1 is connected to 2/3 VCC and positive terminal is threshold. Now when you will say positive voltage is greater than negative voltage, the output of comparator will be Vset or high. Now this output is connected to R in the flip-flop. R is called as reset. So when R is 1, output will become low. So in order to make the output low, you have to apply voltage more than 2/3 VCC at threshold. In order to make the output 1, you have to apply voltage less than 1/3 VCC at trigger. Remember these two things. If you apply voltage more than 2/3 VCC at threshold, output will become 0. If you apply voltage less than 1/3 VCC at trigger, output will become 0. Sorry, output will become 1. Okay. Then in the next case, pin number 7. 1 minute. If you are not able to understand it, see this. Actually threshold is connected at positive. That is my mistake. This is actually positive. This is actually negative. Okay. So when you will apply a voltage more than 2/3 VCC, actually this is positive threshold. Yeah, right. This is negative 2/3 VCC. So when V threshold is greater than 2/3 VCC, then you can say output becomes 0. And if V trigger is less than 1/3 VCC, output becomes 1. So that is how you can change the output from 1 to 0 or from 0 to 1. Pin number 7. Now this pin number 7 is called as discharge terminal. If you see, this discharge terminal is connected to Q bar. So when Q bar is high, this BJT will be on. If this BJT is on, it will help us discharge the load capacitance. Okay. So that means in discharge terminal, when Q bar is 1 or Q is 0, then BJT turns on, which means VCE almost becomes 0, or you can say collector is connected to ground. If collector gets connected to ground, then capacitance between collector and ground basically discharges. So that is why it is called as it is called as discharge terminal. And pin 8 is the supply terminal. I told you we connect a DC source between pin 8 and pin 0. Most importantly, you just have to remember these two things about trigger and the threshold. Okay, remember these two things. So let us see the first application, that is monostable multivibrator. Remember the pin name? Pin number 4 is what? Reset. 2 is what? Trigger. 6. 6 is what? 6 is your which terminal? Threshold. Okay. 7 discharge. 1 is ground, 8 is supply. See, we have connected pin 4 and 8 to VCC. Why? I told you reset is active low. So that means when reset is 0, flip-flop Q becomes 0. So if you want to operate the flip-flop and you want to operate the IC, then you have to keep reset equal to 1. If you keep reset as 0, the IC will be reset. We don't want that to happen. We want the IC to work. For that, reset is connected to VCC or high. That means here reset is actually 1. Is this fine? 8 is the supply pin connected to VCC. 1 is the ground pin connected to ground. 5 is the 3 is the output pin. Okay, 3 is the output pin and 5 is the control terminal which is connected to a capacitor and ground. So we are not applying any voltage at control terminal. We can apply the voltage, but that is to change the pulse width. Right now we are not applying any voltage. See here, the trigger and the threshold terminal are connected together. Both are connected together. I told you, if trigger voltage becomes less than VCC by 3, output becomes 1. And if threshold voltage becomes greater than 2 by 3 VCC, then output becomes 0. Now what will happen? What will happen is, initially, suppose Q is 0. Initially, Q is 0. If initially Q is 0, then what will happen? The circuit is stable. Okay. Now, if you want to make Q equal to 1, you have to apply a trigger input at terminal 2. So, if trigger is applied at 2, that is a decreasing pulse is connected at 2. So when V2 becomes less than 1 by 3 VCC, output will become 1. So that is by applying a trigger input, we have sent the output from the stable state to the unstable state. So when the output becomes 1, this capacitor will start to charge through R1. C charges through R1. See, till the output is 0, I have just now told you about discharge pin. When the output is 0, capacitor discharges. That means till the output is 0, the voltage of this capacitor is discharged, or its voltage is 0. So now we have applied a decreasing pulse to make the output 1. So discharge is inactive. Why inactive? Because the output is 1 and discharge is only active at output equal to 0. Are you getting my point? So here discharge will not work because output is 1. Discharge only works when output is 0. So initially output was 0, so discharge pin was working, and if discharge pin is working, this capacitor is connected between discharge and ground, so capacitor is discharged. Are you getting my point? See this, it is connected between 7 and ground. So if discharge pin is connected or discharge pin is active, capacitor will be discharged. Now once you have made the output 1, discharge is inactive, so capacitor will charge through R1. Okay, so up to what it will try to charge? It will try to charge up to VCC. What is the initial voltage? Capacitor was discharged, so 0. So how you will write VCT? VC infinity plus VC 0 minus infinity e to the power minus t by tau. So VCC 1 minus e to the power minus t by R1C. Now this VC is actually equal to V2 equal to V6. Now if V6 equal to VC becomes greater than 2 by 3 VCC, then output will again become 0. This is your threshold pin. At threshold pin, if you apply a voltage greater than 2 by 3 VCC, output will go back to stable state. So let me equate the capacitor voltage to 2 by 3 VCC. Okay. So now this gets cancelled. So 1 by 3 equal to e to the power minus t by R1C. So time is R1C ln 3. That means after this time, output again comes back to 0. Output again becomes 0. If output again becomes 0, so output again becomes stable. So that will be your pulse width. If you wanted to change the pulse width, what you would have done? You would have applied a control voltage, and then you will not be comparing it with 2 by 3 VCC. You will be comparing it with the control voltage. Okay, because just see the block diagram. Let me show you again the block diagram. If here you apply control voltage, then the voltage of threshold must be crossing the control voltage to make reset equal to 1. Okay, so that means you can control at which voltage switching will occur by applying a control voltage. Now once output becomes 0, this discharge pin will activate. If discharge pin is activated, capacitor will discharge. So discharge gets activated. So capacitor discharges to ground. Okay, so capacitor voltage again becomes 0. So when output is 0, the discharge pin becomes activated. Moving on to the next application is the Astable multivibrator. Again remember the pin name. 2 is trigger, 6 is threshold, 7 is discharge. Again like previous circuit, the reset pin is connected to VCC. So reset is inactive, and when reset is inactive, IC can work. If you make reset as 0, the output of IC will be 0. Now see, the trigger and the threshold pin are directly connected to capacitor. One is connected to ground. Control terminal is connected to a capacitor C dash. 3 is output. But now discharge. Earlier see, discharge was also directly connected to capacitor. But now between discharge and capacitor, we have another resistance R2. So what happens? Initially assume initially Vc equal to 0. If Vc is 0, the trigger voltage, which is Vc, is less than Vcc by 3. If it is less than Vcc by 3, the output of comparator 1 will be high. That means S is equal to 1 and output becomes 1. If output becomes 1, the discharge pin is inactive. Discharge pin can only work when output is 0. So capacitor charges. Capacitor charges through R1 and R2. And when Vc is also equal to V6 becomes greater than 2 by 3 Vcc, the R input becomes high. So output again becomes 0. Okay. So when output becomes 0, discharge pin is activated. If discharge pin is activated, capacitor will discharge. Now when capacitor will discharge, between discharge pin and ground, we have a resistance R2. So capacitor discharges through R2. That means capacitor is charging through R1 and R2 and it is discharging through R2. And when capacitor is discharging, as soon as Vc equal to V2 becomes less than Vcc by 3, S will become 1 and output will again become 1. Okay. So that way output will keep on oscillating between 1 and 0 and capacitor voltage will oscillate between 2 by 3 Vcc and 1 by 3 Vcc. So let me show you this by means of a waveform. So this is Vc and this is V0. So initially capacitor is discharged. So its voltage starts from 0 and it charges exponentially through R1 and R2. Now as soon as its voltage becomes 2 by 3 Vcc, initially output was 1, the output becomes 0. Now the capacitor will discharge and as soon as its voltage becomes Vcc by 3, the output will again become 1. So capacitor will again charge. Now as soon as output becomes Vc becomes 2 by 3 Vcc, output will again become 0. So this is the time period of oscillation. Okay. So remember, charging is through both the resistance R1 and R2 and discharging is only through R2. Now first let us talk about discharging. During discharging, what is the initial voltage? This is the discharging period. Initial voltage is 2 by 3 Vcc. Capacitor will want to fully discharge, so steady state voltage is 0. So what is Vct? Infinity plus 0 minus infinity e to the power minus t by tau. Don't think that steady state voltage is Vcc by 3. It wanted to discharge to 0, but it stopped at Vcc by 3. So I want to know this duration t1. So I'll say at t equal to t1, Vc equal to Vcc by 3, and at this point discharging stops. Okay. So Vcc by 3 equal to 2 by 3 Vcc e to the power minus t by tau, or instead of t you can now write t1. So t1 will come out to be tau ln 2, or you can say R1 plus R2 C ln, sorry, R2C, because discharging was only through R2. So R2C ln 2. If it is discharging through R2, then the time constant is R2 into C. Okay. Now let us talk about charging. Charging is this interval. Now why I am not taking initial one? Because initially capacitor voltage started from 0. But now it will keep on oscillating between 1 by 3 VCC and 2 by 3 VCC like this. Okay. So that means this period will be called as transient, but we are more interested in steady state. So during charging, what is the initial capacitor voltage? VCC by 3, and capacitor wants to charge up to VCC. So what I'll say about VC, steady state voltage plus 0 minus steady state. Okay. Initial is actually VCC by 3 only. So it is VCC by 3 e to the power minus t by tau. Here, since it is charging through both R1 and R2, the time constant is R1 plus R2 into C. VCC minus 2 by 3 VCC e to the power minus t by tau. Now I will say at t equal to t2, Vc equal to VCC by 3, 2 VCC by 3, and charging stops. So 2 by 3 VCC is VCC minus 2 by 3 VCC e to the power, instead of t now what we will use? T2. From here if you find T2, it will be R1 plus R2C ln 2. So we have found out both the periods. The total time period is T1 plus T2, which will be R2C ln 2 plus R1 plus R2C ln 2. C ln 2 can be taken common. So R1 plus 2 R2 C ln 2. What about duty cycle? The output is high. The output is high during T2. So duty cycle delta is T2 by T. That is R1 plus R2 over R1 plus 2R2. That is the duty cycle of the output. So that is how your Astable multivibrator will work. So if I summarize, what you have to remember, that pin 2 is your trigger terminal, and whenever V2 is less than VCC by 3, output becomes 1. Pin 6 is your threshold terminal, and whenever V6 is greater than 2 by 3 VCC, output becomes 0. Then in monostable multivibrator, the pulse width was RC ln 3. In Astable, the time period is R1 plus 2 R2 C ln 2, and duty cycle is R1 plus R2 by R1 plus 2 R2. And how to identify R1 and R2? R2 is discharging resistance between pin 7 and C. So if you remember this much in 555 timer IC, you can solve all the problems. Most of the problems are formula based only. You don't have to apply the working concept of the 555 timer IC. So this is all from this lecture. In the next one, we'll solve some problems based on 555 timer. Thank you.
I hope all of you have enjoyed the lecture that we were providing, and all of you learned something very, very good. Now is the time to learn about the Unacademy subscription. So as I told the benefits of the Plus subscription at the very beginning, let's go through them very, very quickly. Live classes you get by the top educators, crash course, rank improvement batch, doubt clearing, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, everything in one subscription called as Unacademy Plus. And iconic is one level higher. It provides you a personal coach who will mentor you on a daily basis, who will guide you on a daily basis, along with providing you study planner, test analysis, study material, and soon enough, interview guidance. So if you are looking to join Unacademy, let's see what are the pricing. So my dear friends, before we see the pricing, just see the link. This link will help you crack GATE and ESE with the top rank, because we have created the first ever video book for GATE and ESE for my YouTube family, and you will get the notes as well as the lectures here. Just make sure that you write this link in the uppercase and you will get to the first ever video book for GATE and ESE, and it is nothing but revolutionary. Now let's see the pricing of Plus subscription. So for 12 months the pricing is 3250, but if you apply the code Ankit ESE, it becomes 27225. For 18 months it will be 34650, and for 24 months 39600. Believe me my dear friend, this is the most affordable pricing, and the longer duration subscriptions are more cost effective as compared to shorter duration. Like here it will cost you 1650 per month. Okay, this will be 2000 per month approx. This will be around 2250 per month. Then if you go for Iconic for 12 months, it is 5250. With code Ankit ESE it becomes 45225, and 2-year subscription becomes 66600. So the choice is yours, but take a longer duration subscription for more cost effective solution, and to give GATE and ESE at least 2 times, so that if you once crack GATE, in the next attempt you can even get ESE. And other than that my friends, you can download the Unacademy learning app right now, because there we provide live classes for free, test series and live quizzes for free. And once you download it, make sure that you follow this profile. This is my profile, so that whenever I come live you will get the notification. And this is the Telegram channel for our team. Here you will find all the lecture links, all the lecture files, and all the links for the special classes. Other than that my friend, my personal Telegram channel also you can join, t.me/gateair1. Here you can get in touch with me and we can take this journey together. Okay. Other than that, we have other YouTube channels like Mechanical, Civil and Telugu, JE channel, Computer Science, Gate Question and Electrical Junction, Pathshala and GS Terminal. Electrical Junction contains short videos of great concepts. Pathshala provides you animated content. JE preparation can be done through these 2 channels, Unacademy SSC JE and GS Terminal. And you can refer the other channels to the other friends in respective branches, so that they can also be benefited. At last, I would like to say, please share, like and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and not only subscribe, press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever a new video comes. And share these videos among all your college group, among all your friends, so that we can create the first ever revolution of free education in field of GATE and ESE. Thank you to everybody for dedicating time to watching this video. Please move on to the next one as well, and take the benefit of all the free content that we are providing. And in case you have completed the series, do make sure you watch the other subjects available on this channel. Thank you.